how's everybody doing? I thought I would just say hello. It's nice for me to be able to like pop on live impromptu if I plan them. Like sometimes it feels like hard work, whereas if I just pop on when the feeling strikes, it feels quite nice to do and say hello to everyone. This afternoon, I'm doing a planning class with my members. So from 12 till 1:30, we're going to look at visioning out what we want our Substack space to be. And then we're going to look at content buckets, and it's marketing speak really, but I do find it really, really helpful, especially for my paid newsletter, because sometimes I'll go down a rabbit hole into kind of behind the scenes of my business and I want to write about that stuff. And then other times there'll be like loads of life stuff that pops up and it's more memoir style. So for me, I'm very clear about what that space is and how I can explain it to people off platform. Like if you sign up for this newsletter, this is what I talk about. So my language with that is that I talk about the behind the scenes of my wholehearted business or life on the Northumberland coast. So it's a really clear invite to people. So content buckets really help with that. And then we're going to look at how we see ourselves in the schedule of our own work. There's been so much that's changed on Substack over the last little while. And I know people are feeling a bit despondent with how much to email, how much to put out there, how much value to put out for paid subscribers. So we're going to get into some of the balance of that and kind of connect back in with how we feel. There's also some real opportunities always to kind of do more of the deadline marketing, like we might want to be snooty about it and turn away from it, but it actually works. So, like the birthday sale, or if Black Friday's coming up, and it's actually a big thing in the UK now. It never used to be, but it is now. But it's huge in America, and I have a 60% American audience. So it's helpful to be able to prepare for things like that and know that there will be people that make the decision to buy around those times. I found it really helpful the last 3 years I've been doing it to plan for that and know that what's coming out and how it's going to fuel my work. Usually it sort of fuels what I'm doing live in January, that stuff. So yeah, some planning, it'll be good. And then what else are we doing? So, I've decided to add in hot seat coaching. So it's not something that I've done before in the regular membership, but I just felt at the end, like just before I went off on summer holiday, everybody had a lot more questions and a lot more concerns, and everybody's mindset was really affected as well by the changes that they were feeling, both on notes, but also inside of their own publication. So some people not growing at all, some people going backwards. I've definitely gone backwards. It's just quite funny to me now. I'm just like, oh yeah, teach about joyful sustainable growth on Substack, but that also includes the kind of bits in the graph where it stays stagnant and goes backwards. And for the last 3 years, it just was going up and up and up and up and up. So it's really interesting to me. It's been interesting to me. I have definitely learned a lot about myself, being able to be connected and then disconnected from the graphs. And because I run a business outside of Substack, it's fine. Like it's all fine. It just can feel a type of way. So yeah, so 6 weeks of hot seat coaching calls. I think they want to do them on a Tuesday. It's in one of the latest posts anyway, if you want to check it out. And the reason is that connection fuels so, so much for me, but my community as well. So when we get together on Zoom, it is just the nicest time. Like we just have the nicest time. It's so interesting hearing what people are up to. People have got books out in the world. People are doing collaborations. People are launching podcasts. Like it's all happening, and it's all within this really supportive cheerleaderish space. So I love it. So I thought, see the members more. I might actually change the time. So I was going to do 6 weeks at 3 p.m. UK time because that's great for the American time zones. But I might change and do alternative weeks. So 1 week it'll be 3 o'clock and the next week it'll be 9:30 a.m. UK time, because some of my mum friends have got the school run at that time. So yeah, I might shift that up. Watch this space. But yeah, how are you all feeling? Are you settling back into a publishing schedule? Are you feeling inspired to write? Have you had loads of ideas? Are you still sort of gearing up and getting back into things? I'd love to know how you're all doing. I'm just going to see if anybody has said anything. Not yet, I don't think. All the joining notifications, which is nice. It's nice to see people joining, but ideally, I'd just like to be able to read questions if anyone had any. So if you're joining us at 12 inside of the membership, I am really looking forward to it. It's open to everybody inside of my membership. And yeah, we're just going to have a lovely 90 minutes together doing some visioning and planning for the last chapter of the year. It will spill into January as well, but mainly it's focused on September through to December. So if you haven't done your planning yet, or you feel like you want to mix up your strategy for planning, then come along. You're so welcome. You'll be able to find a free trial. If you've not been along before, you can use a 7-day free trial and come along. Otherwise, it's £20 a month or 220 for the year. And yeah, it's just a really beautiful community. I love it so much, and I'm so excited to see everybody after summer. Okay. So Melissa's telling me about New Zealand times. That's helpful. Yeah. And I should mention my friends down under as well, because that's why the 9:30 call was set at that time when I originally launched Sparkle. I know it can be really difficult to work through time zones. So there's this really handy time zone converter that I used to use with my friend that's in America when we were planning stuff together. And you can kind of overlay it over your most popular subscriber areas of the world. But I also really like ChatGPT for that. I know Substack hates us talking about ChatGPT, but honestly, for a neurodivergent person that struggles with dates and times, it is so helpful to be like, I need this to work for these time zones and be an accessible time for everybody. And it'll give you a table that you can just screenshot to give to your audience. So if you do run live calls on Substack, you really need to be looking at your subscriber map and seeing where people are coming from, because you can't just put the time that you're in. We are speaking to a global audience. Lucky us, that's great, isn't it? But we need to be really helpful with them. And when Americans put like PT and stuff, I'm like, guys, nobody knows what that means. If you don't live in America, you've got no idea what those abbreviations mean. Bearing in mind that I have worked globally, like a lot over my career, I still don't know what those abbreviations mean. So, is it like EST, like Eastern Standard Time? So that's the east of America, but still my brain's got to go, what's in the east of America? Is that New York? Probably is New York. Yeah, it's too much. So it's really helpful to like explain it in a way that people understand. So say if you are in America or in Australia and you want to invite people in for different time zones, those time zones vary massively. So I just wrapped my head around the LA to UK time zones when I was working with Russell, and then our clocks went back and I muddled it all up, and I was like, oh no, I've lost it again. So it's not something that we need to learn. Like if you've got the sort of brain that works like that, that's great. I do think that being able to articulate when it is across the world though is really helpful. So use ChatGPT or the time zone converter where you can screenshot the overlays of times. It's also really helpful to know, if you come in with your big morning energy, and somebody's about to go to bed, like that's just different, isn't it? So I think it's really helpful as you are curating and space holding for community as well. If it's a cozy little chat around someone's bedtime, that's great, isn't it? But if you're like, right, let's plan the next 3 months, that's a lot for people. Like they're going to bed, they're not going to come to that. I just think it's so interesting. I'm recording in a couple of weeks with one of my mentors, Leonie Dawson. She's coming on my podcast again, which is gorgeous. She's made 15 million now online. She's amazing. You have to look her up. But I wanted to talk to her about that, like about the actual figures. I think it's really interesting at the moment because on Instagram, you'll see lots of women like owning the money piece and like talking about the money piece and dangling that carrot. But in my generation, it can still feel like difficult, like it's still seen as a bit crass to talk about money or to kind of showcase and share that stuff. I feel really inspired when Leonie talks about it, but that's because I'm in the world of trying to build a business that is inspired by her values, right? So picking the kids up from school and being able to be together as a family on the weekends and not burning myself out through work. But I think it's dead interesting anyway. My point is we'll have to record at 9:30 p.m. my time, which means everybody will be in the house, which means that my energy will be more gentle, like softer. And that's not my best time for recording podcasts. But the last 2 times I've recorded with her, it's so worth it. Like it is still a beautiful conversation. But ideally, I would have nobody in the house, like literally not even my husband, to record. And I would bring like my biggest energy to the recording because I think that stuff transmutes really well. So yeah, so when we're planning all of the stuff that we want to do, spaces in the house I think are gorgeous. To think about different spaces in the house to get into different modes, to go out and work in coffee shops, but also to get everything out onto paper. So I think that we're on our phones a lot, we're on screens a lot, and it can be really helpful just to have. I actually went A2. I couldn't believe it. I bought some A2, an A2 paper pad before summer, and usually just use A4. And A2 was so expansive for me. So it was when I was doing some business planning, and everything that I was doing had almost like outgrown the container that I had for it. So this A2 paper just gave me like a whole big new space to splash color on. So it was lovely. Yeah. So if you want to come at 12, you're so welcome. If you are cracking on with your own planning and you know exactly what you're doing, I guess my top tip on all of that is just don't forget to look at the old gold. So the old gold would be the stuff that you've already published here on Substack. If you go into stats and then email, you can toggle it so you can look at your most popular posts. You'll have a sense of that, but there are always a few surprises in like the top 5 to 10. I think we're seeing now more, or I'm seeing posts go viral, and that's because Substack is pushing them out for other readers to find. So there are various different ways that that algorithm works. But if you've had one go particularly viral, that's usually why it'll have appeared on staff picks or it'll have appeared on the explore page. There's a new magnifying glass on the app, which if you press it, I honestly just feel like I'm on a news channel. I think it's so weird what they've done. So the first 3 headlines were around like politics and like fear, basically. Like that was like the top 3 things, and then underneath was posts from people. And bearing in mind, I don't follow any news, I don't follow any politics on here. I just think it's such an interesting agenda, and it's not somewhere that I need to spend time. However, that's not the only agenda that's being pushed, and that will be being pushed because that stuff is popular, that stuff gets a lot of clicks, that stuff gets a lot of engagement, it attracts a lot of people in that want to have a say about things. And there is a news element here on Substack. There's a really skilled set of journalists that used to work in news outlets that are writing here. So if you've pressed that button and you've seen that, that's my take on that. Anyway, before I go, has anyone got any questions? Does anyone want to ask anything about anything? You are so welcome if you want to ask anything before we head into our planning class at 12. I'm so excited to meet up with everybody. I've got my Sharpies and my big paper and my Post-it notes. I need to find them actually because my daughter had them. So I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. But yeah, it was just really nice to reconnect with you all. And I hope you have a beautiful day doing whatever it is that you're doing here on Substack.